Shalom, peace to the elect. First, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Racha, Quadash. Double honor to the apostles, bishops, elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings, salutations to you brothers pushing this word in truth and sincerity. Shalom to the household of faith. Shabbat not coming back with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh. Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Racha, Quadash. Okay, this is going to be a in transit lesson. Lord's will, not too long. All right, and I want to speak on the situation in Gary, Indiana, which you probably already know about. And you got several brothers doing videos. But the crazy thing is that this is not really being pushed or being covered by Esau Edom like that. Okay, this is not like breaking. This should be breaking news. They've been without power for, I believe, 11 days or something like 9 days, something crazy like that. And they're speaking about it's going to be longer, and how that's a predominantly Jake area. Okay, when I mean Jake, so-called black men, so-called African Americans, we know them to be the Israelites. Okay, I believe like 85%. And I was just watching a video with the elder Damashapat, and they from there, and he just covering it, talk about the liquor stores are still open. And we believe that this is a test run of some sort. Okay, could have been a cyber attack, could be, Esau, the elites running a test run, especially when it's concerning you, Jake, to see how the people are going to react. Okay, a small, you could do it in a not nationwide yet, but you could do it in a small closed off setting. And like I said, Esau, the mainstream media, they'll speak about it, but they're not really speaking about it. Okay, and we've been telling you Israelites, okay, of Jacob's trouble. That's where I'm gonna go. The first thing that came to mind, because I guess there was a storm there, and then a day power outage, 2 days, even 3 days, maybe even 4 days to be like, oh, okay, that's an emergency. But now we're at a point where it's been going on 2 weeks without power. All right, and so-called black people, they don't be having generators. They don't have generators, and that's a relatively poor area. Okay, Gary, Indiana. And they don't have generators. You can have a fridge full of food, okay, but you don't have the refrigerator is not working. All right, because there's no electricity. All that's gonna go to waste. So a lot of people that have food, when cyber attacks or grid down scenarios go on, a lot of food is going to be lost, even in these grocery stores. Okay, videos of the grocery stores being wiped out. Okay, we might go there too in Second Ezra, the 6th chapter. But let me get this, Jeremiah 30:7. Alas, for that day is great, for none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. Okay, look at this. This is madness, man. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. And where is this stuff concentrated at? It's concentrated in you so-called black areas, okay, where you so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Americans are. It's gonna be bad. Esau's gonna experience this too, of course. But this is really going to be targeted towards you so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, because you're on the #1 coal list. They show you that in the movies The Purge. When you watch all the purges, it was all about purging the tribes, whether it was the Southern Kingdom, the so-called black man here in America, or whether it was the Latino Native American. Okay, the whole purge movies were purging you Jakes. So we're in a purge situation. Okay, they're also going to use the draft. We believe the draft is going to come back. Okay, whether they're going to do a ground invasion or a war and whatever, All right, and who are they going to target? You so-called black, Hispanic, Native Americans. Are they going to target you Jake's communities, to put more hell on you and to bring you to your knees to accept this RFID microchip, all right, which is the mark of the beast. Okay, this is all associated with Jacob's trouble. All right, you got a lot of elderly, you got a lot of our people that are in that area that literally have no power, no internet. Just think, no power, no internet, no nothing you can't get gas. All right, for 2 weeks, man. That is a traumatic experience. Alas, for that day is great. That word "alas," when you go into it, means woe. So it's destruction. Okay, this is light work. You know, close to 2 week lights out scenario. That's light work. What happens when, all right, you have drones or a particular so-called terrorist attacks attacking critical infrastructure? Okay, and in that case, it was a powerful storm. All right, the Lord, as the scriptures say, I will smite Egypt again with plagues. You Israelites are going to be part of that. Okay, you're going to be the anger of the Lord is really going to be upon you Jakes at first. Okay, it says, it is even a time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it, the elect, because you got brothers in those areas, Gary, Indiana, that of course the Lord is taking care of. Is it tough? Is it hard? Yeah. Is it challenging? Is it hell? Yeah. Nevertheless, the Lord is not going to forget or forsake his elect. Okay, the miracle is the elect being saved through these things. Okay, and they're gonna attack a lot of you so-called black cities. I want to go to 2 Ezra, the 15th chapter. They're gonna attack a lot of you black cities. It's gonna get lawless. Okay, now if something like this happened in Esau's community, all right, Esau's gonna be a little bit more well off. All right, because he has cellars, he has food storage, he has generators. He prepares for a situation like this. Or where you have a lot of Edomites get caught off guard. Yeah, absolutely. They're gonna suffer too. This is gonna be Esau's trouble too, in the heathen nations. They'll just probably just get in the car and go get an Airbnb in the next city, you know what I mean, or the next state. They'll be able to withstand it. Okay, the rich will be able to withstand these type of events a lot easier than you Jakes that are the most vulnerable. Okay, bear with me. What's up with these young Jakes wearing fucking bonnets, man? What is that? What the hell is going on, man? Every state I go to, you got these young niggas, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, all of 18, 20 wearing fucking bonnets. This shit is unbelievable, man. They got that nigga woman spirit on them. Bear with me. Let me park. I'm parking this car. And we'll continue. Okay, yeah, I'm going to 2 Ezra's. 2 Ezra's, the 15th chapter. The Lord is going to use famine. Okay, you Jakes thought it was a game. Ask those individuals in Gary, Indiana. They're upset, man. They're mad. They're like, man, why isn't it the national news not really covering this? Why is this not a national emergency? Why? And it, you know, they could prolong it to where it becomes a national emergency. They got Jake out there looting. They won't have the cameras there showing Jake's nakedness. You know, Jake going wild because, you know, there's no goods. And they'll bring the camera. Look at them. They're looking at these animals, but they've been starved out. It's basically a siege, and you have a lot of them that can't actually leave, whether they have disability, whether whether they're extremely poor, whether they rely on federal benefits. Okay, and then they can bring in a National Guard. They can bring in FEMA. Okay, to control the situation. All right, this is 2 Ezra 15. And let me read 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Now, this is going to be a worldwide thing. But the anger of the Lord is going to be concentrated here in Babylon the Great, which is America. All right, because the Lord is going to destroy America utterly in this third world war. Okay, and that's ramping up. You have Ethiopia, or was it Somalia? All right, was it Somalia? Pretty much somewhat joining the war. Okay, with the blockade out there, So, and we know that that's Ethiopia, them Cushites. So it's a lot going on. According to what the Lord said. Okay, it's speaking. For the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Those swords, those modern day swords, or guns. Okay, when times get tough, it's going to turn into the law of the jungle. Okay, all right. I see something I need, I got to take it. I have a family. I can't wait on the government to assist me. And if the government's in the way and they're trying to stop me from prospering, well, I'm gonna go to war, and then you're gonna be hungry, you're gonna be mad, you're gonna be upset. Okay, and then you have your government spending trillions and trillions of dollars on an unjust war, and they're like, well, hold on, you spending trillions of dollars, and we over here down bad. What's going on? So you can see how that content, okay, that anger is being built up. And best believe it, when it falls upon Esau gonna go crazy. Esau probably gonna go crazier than Jake, because they've never been brought in that low situation. Or if there is a natural disaster, they have, there's they got the government to come and save them. But the government's going to be so strained to where they gonna say, hey, nothing we can do. Okay. It says, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. You can have more people speaking against the government, talking about overthrowing it, talk about going at the elected officials, posting these particular elected officials' addresses, mobs, storming city buildings and state buildings and federal buildings, demanding answers, or just wanting blood. And this happens throughout the world. Okay, but it's going to be exemplified here in America. Okay, because something like this really hasn't really happened like that to the level, the extent that we're getting ready to experience. Okay, like them individuals in Gary, Indiana, which the majority of them are Jakes. Okay, pretty much getting, bled dry. All right, forsaken. And the news, because you go on YouTube, you go on these different news outlets, and if the Esau wants to push a particular story, you're gonna see that motherfucker pop up everywhere. Like, you're gonna literally see it pop up everywhere. He's gonna show you, like, hey, you need to put your attention on this. With the whole Gary, Indiana thing, I literally have to search it. Okay, you literally have to search it. The only way I knew is because brother's been doing videos on it. And then, particular videos might pop up. So Esau is keeping this hush-hush. And in the time that he wants to, full-fledged, okay, everybody, let's cover it now. Then he'll cover it. Okay, we know this man's agenda. We're not ignorant of Satan's devices. We know his hatred he has towards the Israelites. Okay, but it's still not going to work. Bear with me. Okay, verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Okay, you have individuals that can't even leave that particular area. How much more if there's a national emergency? Maybe you have a particular virus that was caught in Gary, Indiana, and then they got to quarantine it, or it got too violent, and now you have the National Guard or ICE. There's barriers. Okay, then you have the nice parts of Indiana that neighbor Gary, where Esau's at, and they're not even really getting hit with no with no power outage, right? And then you're going to have in like that movie Civil War where you have particular towns and you got Edomites that's guarding them, and they'll allow you to come in or come out if they want to. Okay, so whether it's a state, a local, federal, particular enforcement that's not allowing you to get there, or you're not allowed because the government says you can't go. If there's a state of emergency, whatever it may be, or you just don't have the funds, the resources, the ability to even get there. Okay, all the gas stations are gone, are down. Okay, the digital credits, they're not working. Okay, so you see how fragile, all right, this system is. You see how easy it is to, pretty much break America up from the inside. All you need is a grid down scenario. Everything stops. Everything is associated with the internet. People's lives are on the internet. That's how do they get news? How do they talk to each other? It's all through the internet. Okay. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Yeah, it's going to get to a point to like, oh shit, this is real. This is not like, this is real. People are dying. The elderly and the young are going to die first. Okay, hospitals, I've heard they only have 60 days of fuel, backup generators. I mean, that can be extended. I'm not sure how true that is, but in these major institutions, there are backups, but the backup can only last for so long. Now you have to consider, you have this war with Ukraine, the war with Russia, okay, Iran, and what's happening? There's a critical infrastructure is being hit. Okay, whether it's refinery plants, okay, whether it's gas stations, energy depots, food depots, you have this. It's the equivalent of Amazon. Like we have Amazon here in the United States, and then you have Russia. What is it called? Something berries. That's their name, but it's the equivalent of Amazon. You have Ukraine shooting drones. Okay, at the warehouse, disrupting, shipping and receiving. Supply chains. Not only hitting military infrastructure, but also hitting critical civilian infrastructure, bridges. Okay, remember when you had all those train derailments? All right, those food processing plants just catch on fire. All that matters. Could this be, inside job? Could it be, spies and attacks? It could be. And Esau, he'll play that card when he want to play that card and blame it on Iran. Remember you had they were trying to blame Iran for a cyber attack that was targeting the water supply in one of them particular cities here in America. Okay, it didn't gain too much speed, but they were pushing that narrative. Okay, anytime Esau wants to push a narrative, again, he's going to let you know. It's going to be everywhere. All the YouTube individuals are going to be talking about it. All these major channels are going to pick up the story, whether it's alternative media, mainstream media. They're all going to pick up the story. They're going to just blast it for how many days, how many weeks, okay? In this particular story, they're not really pushing it like that. You don't really know that this is happening. This is an embarrassment. But at the same time, it's against you Jakes, okay? You got wildfires, all right, that have pretty much, this place is done, man. This place is completely finished. You're trying to build something here. Can't you see there's a rapid decline of America? Okay, especially since you went into that war, especially since the COVID, and at least during the COVID, they told you that what they're planning. They're planning the Great Reset, how they're going to accelerate. Remember, their goal is 2030 to have everything set. Now, are they going to get to that point? Lord's will, they don't. Lord's will, it accelerates rapidly to where we make it out before 2030. But we're not that far away. Three and a half years away. Okay. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. All right. So what happens when it's 3 weeks? Multiple cities in America shut down, locked down. Not enough resources to go to these, these cities where these people are at. A lot of people are being left. The gap is now being filled. Then you have war. Then you have, so-called terrorist attacks. Then you have, so-called you had a goddamn blueberry recall, a class 1, okay, FDA blueberry recall from a particular company, and they say, hey, these blueberries, these frozen blueberries, and ain't this some shit? I was literally, I just had some blueberries, some frozen blueberries, or I believe I just had some that morning, and I was gonna eat some more blueberries. It's frozen blueberries, right? And then I see the story about the class 1 recall on frozen blueberries that can cause death. I'm like, God damn, it's really going down. So you have a situation where there could be food, but it's not safe to eat. Okay, and it's going to come a point to where they're going to say, I don't care, because there's going to be nothing to eat, and a lot of people are going to die from diseases. Okay, that's part of the plagues. All right, and then a lot of people are going to die because they're going to go house to house. You're going to have invasions. If you have people not eating for an extended period of time, they're gonna go into your next neighboring cities. First, they're going to loot what they can loot in the area, okay? And then they're going to get so hungry, they're going to go to other areas. And they're going to be armed. And that's going to give excuse to bring in the National Guard or any type of military force, okay? It's getting ready to be real ugly. Well, shit, does not... Let me see something. We don't know what the hell is going on. 911 work in Gary, Indiana, right now. I'm trying to see. It'll probably have to go. Okay, that was a week ago. Emergency resources are available for Gary residents following yesterday. Give me a second. Bear with me. Give me a second. Let's see this. Gary, Indiana. This is from Facebook. I guess a Facebook post 46 minutes ago from Ms. Jake. Gary, Indiana needs help. Storms left residents, especially seniors, without power. Gary, Indiana faces prolonged power outage after historic tornado. Beyond electricity, the community grapples with urgent needs and health risk. Yeah, so who knows if that storm was, created by Esau? If not, ultimately the Lord, he sanctioned everything. All right, and he did say it's Jacob's trouble. This is from Herald.com. Oskaloosa. That looked like a Native American name, but it's a website. Survive. It's like a news website. All right. What this the Oklahoma Herald. Yeah, so it's an Oklahoma-based website. Sounded like it. Okay. Survival mode. Indiana residents endure a 9th day without power. Okay, this was yesterday, so I believe this is the 10th day. Okay, so 10 days without power. Tens of thousands of people in Northwest Indiana are entering a second week without power after a deadly storm toppled trees and power lines. Okay, so this is the 10th day. This is today. Today's the 21st. This article was the 20th. The schools are closed. I'm just kind of skimming through the article. Okay, people looking for Wi-Fi. Some power has been restored, but not in Gary. Residents are exhausted from days without power. We're always in survival mode in Gary, and I think that's probably why it wasn't so much of an uproar, because first few days it was like, okay, we're used to this. Yeah, because Jake is forgotten out there, man. Nobody, I heard of Gary, Indiana. Nobody want to go there. Okay, nobody want to go to Gary, Indiana. There's some places in the United States that Jake lived where it's like, even those who get out of those hoods, those cities, they're like, I'll never want to go back ever again. That's how bad it is. Okay, and they fly under the radar. Let me get because the Lord is going to jack you Jakes up. All right, you thought it was a game. You thought that America loves you, and you're gonna be like in an uprage, in an uproar, because you're gonna find out that the so-called white man, he still hates you. Okay, you're gonna find that out. All right, and you're gonna find that out because during a time of course, chaos, but a time of need, when you really need the government to come in and help you out, it's silence. It's going to be silence. Okay. 2 Ezra 6 and 22. It says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. It's gonna be like everything's fine one day. Like I'm here in Tennessee, right? You go to the grocery store, you get whatever you want. All right, you want ice cream, you go to a store. There's 20 different types of ice creams. Chips, there's 20 different types of chips. Okay, wings, there's 20 different types of wings. For you like French fries, whatever you like, right? But what happens when no food comes in, or the refrigeration breaks down, the grid goes down for a week, 2 weeks? What's going to happen? That's going to be suddenly. Everything was fine one day, everybody's eating good, and then boom, the power goes out. Because we have power outages out this way, and it's a power outage. It might last 30 minutes, 45 minutes, sometimes a couple of hours, 3 hours. And in 3 hours, you're like, God damn. And then finally turn back on. You're like, okay, cool. Right? But what happens when that first day go by? And then that second day go by, and then you're trying to find, questions, and your neighbors are coming to your house, say, hey, do you got any rice and this and da da da. The week goes by. Okay, the first couple of days, like the elder was saying, people pulling together, helping each other. But now people are like, it's more cutthroat now. Okay, and we're gonna read that as well. Okay, and the verse 23, and the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. All right, because that's going to be one of the least of your worries. The lights being turned off. I mean, that's going to be a major inconvenience. I mean, it is serious. But then you're going to be in war. You're going to have troops running around. Okay, you're also going to have people killing each other, people invading. You're also going to have all these different diseases people are going to be dying from. Okay, you're going to have famine. Okay, you're going to have the government going door to door, seeing who is military age men and grabbing their ass up and throwing them out there in the meat grinder. Okay, you're going to have women being kidnapped. Forget going to school. You ain't going to be worried about going to school, getting a degree. Okay, I want my passport because I want to go on a cruise. I want to go to Mexico. Okay, that shit's going to be done away with. Okay, and all you're gonna hear is the sound, okay, of destruction, the sound of war, which is going to cause individuals to be very afraid. Okay, especially during the time of uncertainty. And that's really what sudden fear happens, and makes you do irrational things. Okay, it's because you don't know you don't know what's going to happen next. It's uncertain. Bear with me. It's uncertain. Okay, that's when the Holy Spirit kicks in. We know these things, okay, are going to happen. What does the scripture say? Be not afraid of sudden fear. Let me get that. All right. Proverbs 3:25. Be not afraid of sudden fear, neither of the desolation of the wicked when it cometh. So we're expecting these things. These are not things out of the realm of possibility. And we're always putting on our thinking cap, our spidey sense. This doesn't sound right. Oh yeah, this has Esau's hand all written all over it. But ultimately, we know what we don't argue within ourselves. Did Esau do it? Is the elite? We don't argue and debate within ourselves about if Esau did something or not. Why? Because we know and understand that Yahweh Bashim Shai controls everything. So whether Esau the elite did it or the Heavenly Father, he did it himself, it doesn't matter. The Lord did it. Okay? And everything that happens, Yahweh Bashim Shai, he sanctioned it. Okay? At that time, I read that in Proverbs, right? Be not afraid of sudden fear, because that sudden desolation that comes, all right, that's for the wicked to be destroyed. All right, I'm back in 2 Ezra 6. We'll close it here. In 24, at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies. All right, and a lack of resources, all right, will make friends fight like enemies. You got people that fall out over $100. Friends. You got friends that fall out over an argument, that want to kill each other and then actually kill each other over chicken wings. All right. How much more during this time? At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. Yeah, it's going to be fearful consolation. Okay. You look at the consolation to see what's going to happen next. And there's no, because look, everything is progressively getting worse. We're in a time where it's not getting better. You have to be literally retarded to believe that things are going to get better. Literally retarded. You have to be completely disconnected from reality to believe that, things are just going to pass over and, everything's going to be good. All right. Nah, that's not what's happening. You're being kept asleep by your government. And the whole time your government is in bed with the elites to orchestrate, because it is going down. It is crumbling. It is being demolitioned. Just like the Twin Towers. He said, pull them. Okay, what does that mean? He pull number the building 7. Pull it. That means bring it down. So basically, level by level, boom, 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 America is coming down. Everybody's a goddamn freak. Okay, all you got is adult content all over the internet. Women and men just being freaks, especially these women. These women are completely wicked. All right, the majority of your woman, 90% of your women are selling box. Whether it's a sugar baby situation, whether they out there on the streets or they selling it online, some form of way, fashion. OnlyFans. Okay. Well, that's all a scam. All right. You don't have women making all that money, doing millions of dollars doing OnlyFans. That shit is a wash. That's to get you women to participate. Pay put a couple of names out there, you know, that are making, oh, she made $100 million. Oh, I could get a piece of that. Joe stink ass box. The whole time that shit was all set up. She don't even control her. There's stories on that. She don't even control her money. She don't even know how much money she got. Because it's all set up. It's all set up to draw you in, to corrupt you. Okay, to defile you, to wear you down. Because once you start doing that, once you start doing that type of shit online and putting it out there, you're capable and liable to do anything. What would stop you from putting a chip in you? If you're a homosexual, what would stop you from putting a chip? What homosexual would say, no, I'm not going to do that? You doing other crazy shit. They wanted to skew the lines of morality. Okay, everything it's all objective. Okay, to the person. You know, truth is relative to the person, right? At that time shall friends fight one against another, like enemies. And the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. Whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of your world, right? Which is the end of Esau's world, this current world that we live in now. This is the end of it. And Esau's associated with the end. Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of it that followed. When you read up in the chapter, okay. And could you imagine the plagues that those ancient Egyptians were suffering? Well, we're in spiritual Egypt. So the ancient Egyptians, okay, they suffered those things back then, but now you have the spiritual Egyptians. All right, and you Jakes that go down to Egypt too. Before that, back then, the children of Israel didn't experience these plagues were only on the Egyptians. But now, all right, these plagues are going to be upon all the land. And we're also going to experience these things, but the Lord is going to deliver us from these things. Again, that's the miracle. Okay? So, Lord's will, we make it all the way to the end. This is a time to be spiritual and stay spiritual. Okay, and not make any stupid moves because you're in fear. You should already know what's happening, but you're going to see that a lot of Israelites are going to be bugging out. And guess what? Esau always going to come with the solution, problem, reaction, solution. And what is the solution? Well, he has the chip for you. So, hey, I pray that the lesson was edifying. Until next time, shalom to the legs.